Welcome to the Listen for Life podcast with Genevieve Richardson. Genevieve is a speech-language pathologist rehabilitating adults with communication challenges after a stroke or due to a neurological impairment. Get equipped with knowledge from experts in the field and professionals you need to know. We'll hear stories and experiences from others who are navigating life with aphasia. So, put your earphones in and take a walk outside. This isn't just a podcast. This is a community, a resource, and a support system. We're in this together. Do life.
You know, sometimes when you set out to do something and you think it's going to be straightforward, it's part of your routine, it's something you do every day, but there's this pressure, there's this stress, there's this emotion that's kind of in the back of your mind, and it really impacts everything that you do. Well, yesterday I sat down to finish writing the script for this episode as well as a follow-up episode. And it's going to be really good when, when I actually get it done. But for me personally, yesterday, I hit a wall. I hit a wall because I've had some, circumstances. Both of my daughters moved out of the house in the last week. And even though I'm proud of them and know that they've got this, it really hit me yesterday how quiet the house is. And that just was a recurring theme for everything that I did yesterday. Even though I have a regular routine of things that I do in the house and how I work and how I see my clients and how I prepare for the podcast episodes, etc. It really hit me as I was texting with my husband saying, what do you want for dinner? And just feeling really overwhelmed that what am I going to make for dinner? Like I couldn't possibly pull that together. And luckily he offered, for us to bring in dinner last night, which was a big relief. But then I'm talking with one of my friends on FaceTime, and she asked me how I'm doing. And the next thing I know, I am crying, like full out sobbing. Later, I talked to my oldest on the phone, and she asked me how I was doing. And again, I just started sobbing again. That was me hitting a wall. That was me being stubborn, not realizing I needed to stop and give myself a bit of grace, to give myself some space to feel. That's not a feeling that I normally want to experience, but if I'm going to cope and grieve the change, it's not a loss, it's just something different. It's the loss of having their energy and spirit and frenetic craziness and enthusiasm and laughs and, all of that goes with it. I have to grieve that change, that loss, but I also have to focus on that they've got this and they are under control. So I'm still going to try and feel all the feels and let it flow. But it brought me to thinking about you, the person with aphasia, you, the care partner, the spouse, and what you are probably feeling, even though your circumstance and my circumstance are different. There's an underlying theme, right? It's hitting the wall. It's recognizing when you've hit that wall so that you can find a way to deal with it. That's what I had last night. I was so incredibly frustrated throughout the day. I was snappy at the dog. I answered phone calls or responded to texts just very clipped and not in my usual way. And it took me to the end of the day to realize what was going on with me, and that stating out loud, for me, that's what I have to do. I have to name it to tame it, right? I had to acknowledge that I was cranky and irritable and couldn't get the things done, even though I kept trying to get it done. because I was hurting and I needed to process that. So that was a turning point for me. But, the universe has its way of pointing things out to me. And sometimes I don't get it quickly. And so it took a culmination of all those circumstances yesterday for me to get it. So how can you, the person with aphasia and the care partner, also get it? How can you get it quicker than I did? How can you recognize when you've hit a wall and you need to do something about it? Well, are you more irritable? Are you not able to get done the things that you would normally do in a day? Are you using negative self-talk about, beating yourself up for not remembering to do something or not finishing something or not starting something? What is it that can be your trigger to help you recognize when you've hit a wall? So once you hit that wall, what are you going to do about it? I had to stop and think about it and realize what was happening. I had to realize what my emotions were so that I could think about it. And like I said a moment ago, I have to say it out loud. So as I was driving home from picking up dinner and talking to my daughter, my 20-year-old literally was coaching me, something that I would do for her or do for one of my clients or spouses that I work with. She was coaching me about feeling it, about letting it go, about letting it flow. So I thank you, my dear, because you're awesome. And I needed that coaching to help me push through that wall, not just push it or break it. Those are analogies we could use, but I climbed over it. It's not to say that that wall isn't still there and I still see it, but it's not controlling me. So my encouragement to you is recognize when you're hitting a wall, acknowledge it, feel the feels, name it, write it down, journal about it, say it out loud, call a friend, text a friend, and tell them what's going on, and let somebody else help you work through that like my daughter did to help me. So we're going to wrap up this super shorty episode. I'm going to give myself grace this week and let this stand as our episode. I hope you get something out of it. I hope you'll recognize your own wall that is getting in the way. And I wish you an amazing week, getting control, feeling the feels, and climbing over your own wall. We'll see you next time on the Listen for Life Aphasia podcast. Have a good week.
Thanks for tuning in to the Listen for Life podcast. We hope you feel empowered and supported. Head over to listenforlifepodcast.com to see the show notes with links and information from today's episode. Do you have a topic, a resource to share, or a guest recommendation? Inquiring minds want to know. Let us know in the comments section. Wishing you a fabulous week.